welcome back. So I've been studying this phenomenon for quite some time, and when I first started this channel, I talked about it, on how it did appear quite strange that all the stuff is directly in our face. You think they would try to hide it and keep it close to the chest, because if you're indulging in behavior like the elite are, why in the hell would you ever want to tell anyone about it? But anyways, I did come across the Tate brothers. I've been following Andrew Tate, this guy, for, I don't know, about a year or so, just off and on. But I didn't actually realize he talked about subjects of this matter. But he goes into great detail on why it's deliberately in our face. But I'll go through step by step, proving along the way that everything he's saying is actually correct, and only a Google click away. So without further ado, let's check it out.
And speaking of promoting pedophilia, let's talk about Mr. Kanye West's former brand, which he has now disassociated with him. Shout out to Kanye, Balenciaga.
Yeah, so anyone who's not familiar with what has happened, they put up a advertising campaign with children holding bondage teddy bears, and then people started looking deeper into their images and noticing that books in the background were written by pedophiles, and they were finding other names in the background of their images that you Google, that person has taken illicit photos of children, etc. So basically, Balenciaga is rife head to toe with these little hidden cookies, all linking to
child molestation and pedophilia. Let me tell you something. If I have a little girl, I would never let her do any kind of modeling, because that business is just filled with pedophiles and degenerates. But if I sent her on a photo shoot and thought, my little girl's going to shoot from Balenciaga, that's good, and told her mother to go take her down to the photo studio, and she came back holding teddy bears in BDSM sexual bondage gear, I'd lock and load.
I don't think many people understand why this is happening. The chance of it being a coincidence, not just the child. You know, the thing is, I'm going to give Balenciaga the benefit of the doubt. A little girl holding a bondage teddy bear is distasteful and is clearly promoting pedophilia. But you could perhaps argue in a court of law that it was just, they weren't thinking and they didn't realize, perhaps. But multiple campaigns having books written by people who were either making pedophilic content or arrested and charged for murder of a child or pedophilia. That is not a coincidence. You can't argue that away as oops. You can't argue that away as I wasn't
tried
thinking.
Very hard.
You can't argue that away. You've tried very hard to put in that many deliberate references to a particular mindset, which obviously the world finds repulsive. Therefore, by extension, you have to understand that if it was done on purpose, which as we've just deciphered, it must have been, why are they doing this? And I don't think many people understand why a brand like Balenciaga would so openly show the world that they are trying to promote pedophilia.
Tell them.
I'll tell them why. So some could argue that they're trying to advertise it and encourage it. Normalize. And that is the case. That is what they're trying to do. But it actually goes a level deeper than that. Satanists, people who worship Satan, believe in karmic retribution. They believe that they can suffer the consequence of lying and tricking you. So the very simple premise is this. If I sell poison apples and I write apples and you come and eat one, I poisoned you. But if I sell poison apples and I have a sign that says apples, they're poison, and you come and eat one, you committed suicide. I haven't murdered you. You've committed suicide.
That's what Satanists believe.
Satanists believe by telling you what they're doing, they don't have any karmic retribution. I'm not responsible for the consequence. I'm not responsible for all the negative fallout from my actions if they understood what I was doing and allowed me to do it. This is why they show you and tell you what they're doing. If I show you and tell you that we are pedophiles and you continue to buy our products, then you're supporting pedophilia. And you're obviously okay with us being pedophiles. If I do it hidden behind your back, then you can argue and say, I didn't know they were pedophiles. But by showing you, I've shown you I'm a pedophile. You still want to wear my t-shirt. So obviously what I'm doing is okay. And this karmic retribution model and the way that Satanists view the world, and when I say Satanists, I genuinely mean people who worship real Satan. The people who are in charge of these brands and in charge of the Western world and in charge of the Matrix genuinely worship Satan, When you understand the idea of karmic retribution, you can apply that to so many scenarios. They're doing this with everything. Karmic retribution isn't just about Balenciaga. Let's look at the recent scam of COVID. They made it very clear to you it was bullshit. They made it very clear that the virus isn't going to hurt you.
They made it clear that they didn't listen.
They
disobeyed the mask laws.
Yeah, they made it very clear to you it was all stupid. So that when you still did it, they could say, well,
we showed them.
We showed them it was dumb, but they did it anyway.
I'm going to drop a very subtle one in there that you probably don't want me to mention. I'm going to mention it anyway. If there was a certain world leader who is playing a role right now integral to, how can I exactly put this? If there was a world leader right now who was playing the role of a hero when in fact he was a villain, wouldn't it be funny if we publicly gave him an Oscar
for
playing a role?
For acting as something as he isn't.
Now, Google which world leaders have recently been handed Oscars in your face.
It's karmic. This is the whole point. They have to show you what they're doing so that when they're allowed to do it, that they can sit and say, well, they knew what we were doing and they didn't stop us. They were complicit.
Yes.
Complicity is what Satanists believe in. They don't want to outright lie to you and trick you. They have to tell you. This is why the Georgia Guidestones say we're going to reduce the world population. This is why they will say to you things like, listen to this. Imagine this for a second. Imagine you're at home and they say that COVID is dangerous. And then you watch the Black Lives Matter protests and they say that Black Lives Matter protests don't spread COVID because the cause is noble. And then after that, you still get the vaccine to protect yourself.
And still don't meet your friends and family or go to the funerals of your loved ones.
If you're that stupid, you deserve the consequences. But this is understand, please.
But they're right.
They're right.
They're right.
The Satanists believe if you're that stupid, you deserve the consequences of not seeing your family members, of not being able to run your business and losing your job, of potentially dying from the vaccine. They believe you deserve all of these consequences because they've made it very clear to you that the whole thing is bullshit. And you agreed with it anyway. Balenciaga is not accidentally, repeatedly trying to tell you that they're supporting pedophilia. They're telling you on purpose that they believe in their religion there's no karmic reprehension for themselves. They're not going to face any consequence for their actions. And most people don't understand this. Once you understand how Satanists work and why they show you what they're trying to do, then the whole world makes a lot more sense. This Balenciaga thing is not just a messed up advertising campaign and stupid cookies and little hidden things. No, this is pedophiles telling you they're pedophiles. Genuinely in real time.
And when they see you wearing their t-shirt, they're like, you know what? That guy supports me. So turn off the World Cup, burn your Balenciaga, do not shop there anymore. And shout out to Kanye for cutting ties with those people because there's more to all of this than meets the eye. I'm telling you, the fact that Kanye, just before this stuff came out, cut all ties with the brand, I think Kanye knows a lot more than he lets on. He sees a lot more than a lot of people see. And shout out to him. He's back on Twitter, you know.
So having seen that, how he exposes the Satanist mind, that the Satanist actually has to show you what they're doing to you, and if you go along with it, then it's not their karmic retribution, it's on you, it's your fault. But aside from that, people want to claim all sorts of stuff about Kanye and who's actually in charge, and how you're not actually allowed to say who's in charge. But realistically, it was known in World War II. It was the same then as it is now. When the flak guns start shooting at you, and when the intensity of the fire happens and you get shot down, chances are
as population control. Margaret Sanger is a eugenics and is working today. The number one cause of death for black people in America is abortion. The most dangerous place for a black man today, or black baby, black woman, is in their mother's stomach. And that is a programming that's pushed through, I got a new word for 2024, the red media. That is, the red media If you go to Apple right now, go to Apple Music. Let's load up the top 10 songs. I guarantee you they're promoting black serial killing.
Absolutely.
Not just one. They're promoting black. The red media is making money off of blacks being serial killers to each other. Also misogynistic. The red media is making money off of that. And God sees it. But I understand, and I'm not judging because the oppressed becomes the oppressor. And it is our time now. Blacks are coming into money. We are not scared anymore. And I showed you that I crossed that line. They tried to bankrupt me. They tried to say I was crazy, and I'm alive. We haven't had a full black community since the gentrification of Harlem and Black Wall Street, which was torn down. But I know my brothers, my engineers, my architects, my farmers are gonna rise up. And if it meant they had to take me and drag me like Emmett Till in front of everyone because I whistled, I know my brothers, my engineers, and I have no reason to lie. My family was taken away from me. My reputation has been smeared.
Get it.
So let's close with a prayer. Father God, thank you. Thank you for keeping me alive. Thank you for the voice. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you for the experience. And thank you for the love. Because even though the real hate is what's happening on the media, and the idea of DEF CON was to get protected for a time like this, let's lead with love. I have no association to any hate group. If any hate happens upon any Jewish person, it is not associated, because I am demanding that everyone walk in love. Even though there's been things that have happened wrong to me that made me want to speak up, that you guys saw in the past 2 weeks. You saw the power. You saw Ari Emanuel come out in public and ask, if that happened in public, what do you think happened in private? And what do you think happened in private to so many people for so many years? But what I'm telling everyone, no matter what background you are, no matter what socioeconomic class you are, walk with love right now. Do what God would want. What would Jesus do? Walk with love, spread happiness.
Yeah, it's good advice. But as we can see, the Marxists, they don't actually care about all this crap that they preach. Like they say inclusivity, diversity, etc., feminism, whatever. They don't actually care about any of that crap. They just use it as a weapon. But realistically, if you are part of one of these quote-unquote protected groups and you speak out against them, you're just as bad as everyone else, if not worse, because you are a minority. But it's kind of funny, like Kanye, he's obviously black. You got Andrew Tate, mixed race guy. They don't care about the race of the person if you're on the wrong side. And that's the other thing about Andrew Tate that we'll look at. And you come up against them, go against major topics like abortion or wage gaps or climate change, the Ukraine-Russia war, people who are actually in charge. If you go up against any of these, they come for you. It doesn't matter. We'll take a look.
The truth is this. So I knew it was coming. I absolutely not knew it was coming because of how orchestrated it was. The only thing, and I'll state this at the beginning, the only reason I'm upset by being canceled is because I've expired one of my lives. Because first you get canceled, then they make up a reason to put you in jail. And if that fails, they kill you. So now I'm down to my last 2 lives, which is also why while I'm answering this question, I'm still being careful how I'm answering it. I'm not telling you
scary
everything.
Shit.
It's scary because they've given me the warning and I'm still running my mouth.
Yeah.
So that's scary. The truth is this. They're going to put me in jail because I'm too influential and I'm too dangerous. If I say I can influence an election right now.
That's a huge worry, isn't it?
It's scary for them. They're like, oh, who's this guy?
Yep.
And they've tried to get me to sell my soul. I'm not going to give too many stories, but on multiple occasions, they've tried to get me to sign contracts and offer me a bunch of money to shut up and agree to this and agree to that. And I won't do it. So now they're sitting there going, okay, there's this person with massive influence, perhaps the most influential man in the world. We've offered him to sell his soul so we can control him. He won't do it. He can influence things massively. He is a wild card. What do we do about this person? And they sit and they go, okay, well, accuse him of something, put him in jail. And if that doesn't work, then it's like, oops, car crash. Mm-hmm. That's the end. So I'm now at a position where I'm like, I have to very strongly gauge how far I want to go because Icarus flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
So it gets scary, right? So you have to be very self-reflective of these things. But yeah, how much is enough? I don't know. I hope I'm going to balance it just right, and I'm going to save the world and awaken people from the matrix and stay breathing as long as possible.
You look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
Matrix has attacked me.
This way? No.
The Matrix is strong. The system which is designed to keep you as a slave is strong. How could it exist any other way? Because there's very few of them and there's a lot of you. The system is extremely strong and it's designed to keep most of the people at the bottom slaving away, praying to have money they're never going to have so that those at the top can stay filthy, filthy rich. To attack a system like this, you need to wait for an opportunity. There has to be a chink in the armor. Something has to happen, which the Matrix has not prepared itself for. So there's an opportunity for the masses, for people at the bottom, for the shit munchers to break through and become ultra high net worth individuals, as I have. If you cannot feel in the air, if you have half a brain, you should feel it in the air. You should feel it when you wake up. You should feel it when you look around you, that the world is not the same as it was. Corona, yeah, that's just the beginning of this crap, right? The world is not the same as it was. Things have happened this year and last year which will never, ever happen again. And the financial system, the judicial system, the immigration systems, all the systems of Earth which function in a particular way have broken down because society no longer functioned in a way it was supposed to function. The Matrix is weak now. You have an opportunity now to make more money than you've ever had in your entire life. You understand inflation is coming. You understand fiat currency is no longer valuable. You've been told to just buy crypto because this is your limited understanding of the fiscal landscape, and that's not a bad move. But there is so much more you could do. You need to start preparing for the impending fiscal doom which will bestow most of the average people of Earth. Most Joe Schmoes of Earth are waiting. They don't know what they're waiting for, but I'll say what they're waiting for. They're waiting to be crushed. That's what's going to happen. A 2% pay rise at your job's not going to do it. Buying a little bit of Bitcoin ain't going to do it. You need a plan to benefit from this inflation so you can ride the tidal wave as opposed to being run over by it.
So one thing's clear. I've been studying them as long as I can remember. And as their system becomes more complicated and more sophisticated, so do we. But Tate tells the truth. You can't hit all the talking points that they revel against and expect nothing to occur. He hits all the major talking points that they try and push upon us. He destroys all of them. And now he's the most searched man on earth, ahead of Putin, Trump, and Elon Musk combined. That means something. In a world of lies, to tell the truth is treasonous. Till next time.